Hi, welcome to EBS Ministries. This video is supposed to serve as sort of a tutorial for the website. Also, I'd like to cover some of the format for our meetings. Typically, we'll meet every other Sunday, and we will meet for about 90 minutes. During that time, for the first 20 minutes or so, we will share in readings, and then the subsequent hour, we will then take 5 minutes each to kind of answer some discussion questions and or share our thoughts that pertain or are related to our walk in following Jesus Christ as well, and our what is going on with what's pressing our hearts and our minds that week. Occasionally, we will have speaker meetings where one individual will share his testimony, and we will center the discussion around that topic. I'd like to share my screen and open up the meeting website here. So this portal should help you. It should provide all the resources you will need going forward. So the website is just ebsministries.w3spaces.com. Okay. So EBS Ministries stands for Electronic Bible Study Ministries. So the website that I have developed and host for the Bible study. So here you'll find a video. This tutorial video that you're watching now should be found here. And if you are on a smartphone, there should be a hamburger icon here. You click that and it should open up your various links. So this is the desktop view. So the first thing you'll see is the video, like I said, the one that you're watching now, that will be updated as soon as this is concluded. Here we have a daily Bible verse that is powered by BibleGateway.com. Now I use Bible Gateway quite a bit for our various Bible readings. Today's Bible verse is 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 3. This is a web service that I have modified. That it's actually provided by Bible Gateway. I've modified this web service for our website. The next thing you'll find is announcements. Now, announcements may include news of upcoming events that we might partake in. For example, either a camping trip or men's conference. Also, there might be an event such as a fundraiser that we might be a part of. So you'll find if meetings are canceled or rescheduled, or if we're going to have an impromptu meeting, I might update that here as well. So this is where you can find that meeting has been canceled for October 9th. Today is the 3rd. And the next meeting for October 16th has been canceled. So we will be meeting on October 23rd next time. I also have an impromptu link to the contact section. So, for example, if I wanted to go to announcements from anywhere on the site, I could just click on here, announcements. It should take me to that page or to that link. I could also click on it over here. And if you'll notice here in the URL, it has / the web URL / pound announcements. So that takes you right to this page. If I were to replace this with pound Zoom, it would take me to the Zoom meeting info. Here's the meeting ID, and here is the passcode, and then the link to the Zoom meeting. This will not change. It also lists the times for Pacific, Mountain, Central, and Eastern. So a lot of 90 minutes. If you want to go back to the top, just click on this EBS icon, takes you right to the top. So again, as far as the meeting format, we will open with prayer. We are talking about this. This isn't going to be implemented just yet, but we're talking about it. Maybe we'll have individuals perform some sort of Christian musical piece at the beginning of the session, maybe 5 minutes prior and 5 minutes into while everybody logs on. We'll have one individual volunteer to do that. The second thing we'll begin is read the passage. We'll read the Bible verses together, and we will then watch or read an overview of the passage, the scripture that we've just read, followed by the questions for reflection, which I will then share my screen, or whoever the host is for that evening will share their screen. They'll put the questions on the screen there, and we can all read them together. There should be 3 to 5 questions. And at that point, we will take turns going around in a circle, and give about 5 minutes each, depending on how many people there are. If there's a lot of individuals, we might bring it down to 3. If there's not as many, we might bring it up to 10. Depends on how many individuals there are. You want to give everyone a chance to talk during the meeting. So about 5 minutes each, and you'll kind of answer those 5 questions or 3 questions while you're sharing, or you can just kind of talk about the reading itself. You don't have to necessarily focus on the questions, but they will be on the screen for you. And then the other thing was you can maybe talk about something that's pressing on your heart that week, or something you've maybe a blessing has occurred. Maybe there's been some sort of a miracle that you've witnessed that you want to share with the rest of the group. That would be the time to do it. And then after everyone has shared, again, I've allotted 90 minutes, so there definitely will be extra time. If anybody wants to go for seconds and talk again, they will have the opportunity to do so. I just want to give everyone a chance to share at least once. And you don't have to share if you don't want to. And then the final thing we'll do is close with prayer. And again, some weeks we will have a speaker. That's something that I want to talk to the guys about, and see if we can get volunteers to speak and share their testimony. The book that we're getting, the questions for reflection that these studies are based on, so every meeting we'll kind of go over a study, is called Act Like Men. This is by James McDonald, Pastor James McDonald. It's called Act Like Men, 40 Days to Biblical Manhood. This book can be found on his website. So if you click this link right here, and I have it in the news and other places around the website, if you click on this link, you can go straight to his website at jamesmcdonaldministries.org, and you can purchase it for $5. It's also on any e-shopping site. I found it in many places for $5 or less. So this, if it's used. So this is the book that we will be getting our studies from. And if you look at this text, it has 40 studies. And so every meeting will cover one of those studies. So I encourage everyone to read the study before the meeting, and then the questions of reflection are at the end of the study, which we will then kind of talk about. We won't be reading the study during the meeting. We will actually just be reading the passages. So I actually do the study beforehand, and I prepare the scripture that we will cover during our meeting together. The other thing is, since the King James Version Bible is public domain, I put those verses here on the site. We'll cover those in a minute. But a book that a lot of the guys are picking up, or a version of the Bible, is Every Man's Bible. Okay, Every Man's Bible. This was a gift that I have, and many of the guys have enjoyed it. So I went ahead and picked up a version. They went ahead and picked up a version as well. So we've been using this as well for our scripture. It has a lot of resources, supplemental content along with the actual scripture. I think a lot of the guys are getting the new international version. I think this one's the New Living Translation. Again, we'll be mostly reading the King James Version together, but it doesn't hurt to pick that up if you like. It's a supplemental. So again, if you ever have any questions about whether or not we're meeting that week or something has changed, you can always refer to the announcement section. So here's the schedule. So this is it's not necessarily a 40-week schedule. I need to update that. It's a 40 meeting schedule. We've decided to meet every other week. And so you'll see here that our next meeting is on the 23rd. We'll be completing study 5. And so you'll see a link here that has a list of the supplemental verses. Every study, Pastor McDonald has included in the back of the book an index that has the supplemental verses for that study. And I highly encourage you to go and pick it up and read it before the meeting. But you can click on this link. It takes you to BibleGateway.com. But I've already queried all the scriptures that the study is supplemented with. So let's go ahead and click on this link. And it has prompted BibleGateway.com for all the verses, the scripture in the King James Version. And you can actually change versions here if you like. Okay. but as prompted and queried for those passages. And so you can read those as well supplementally. Okay. We won't necessarily be reading those during the meeting, but I provided the links here and I've queried them all for you. So this schedule goes all the way out. And if you'll notice here that we skip every other week, we're not going to meet on Halloween, or we're not going to, on November 6th, I'll have an announcement, but is daylight savings. So we're going to push the clock an hour ahead. So be mindful of that. Thanksgiving will skip, Christmas and New Year's will skip. So it might be a few weeks before our next meeting around the holidays. And you'll see here, December 18th, and then we don't have another meeting until the 8th of January in 2024. I know some people have anniversaries. For example, my wife and I, our anniversary is on the 12th of February. We have another anniversary in May. So you'll see that we skip some dates there in May, just to, so that those gentlemen, if there's anyone else that has any anniversaries, just let me know and we can update the schedule accordingly. Again, this schedule is not in stone, or we can mend it if we need to. And this goes all the way out to 2024. So just review that. And this is again, at least the first few weeks, you could be certain of. We might change these other ones later as we get closer to those dates. But yeah, we want to go through all 40 studies, and it looks like it'll take us about a year and a half to do that if we go at the pace we're going, which is fine. We don't need to rush this. I don't think this needs to be rushed at all. So that's the schedule. The weekly readings, so you can click here and go to weekly study and passages. So that will take us to the weekly readings, and you'll see here I have a note. Please read study 5 from Act Like Men. Put the next meeting there. So if you'd like, you can see the questions of reflection. I've put those up here as well, as long as with the supplemental passages. After every meeting, I'll go ahead and update this site to reflect our next meetings, the details of the next meetings. So additional readings, if you click on that. So additional readings, this is essentially the reading that we will be covering in the meeting. That's what we will read together. So Jesus tested in the wilderness, Matthew chapter 4, verses 1 through 11. I've gone ahead and placed the King James Version here on the site. You can click on this to take you to a print version if you want to print it out. So to print, take you to a PDF that you can print out. And you can actually read the passage on BibleGateway.com by clicking this link. But again, we'll read it together. This was and there's also an audio version if you want to listen to the reading while you're driving, or I don't recommend using your phone while you're driving, but if you're just, maybe you're cleaning the house or exercising or just out for a walk, you can listen to it as well. Kind of get you in the mindset for that next few weeks. Don't believe I've shared audio here, so right. So I just find a YouTube video that has that, and I put the link there. If you don't find it, if it's broken, then just go on Google and search audio version of Matthew chapter 4 or Matthew. And so we'll read this together. After we read that, this next meeting, we're gonna have 2 readings. So we're gonna read Matthew chapter 4 and Proverbs 3. At which time we'll then either read an overview. If I draft an overview up to kind of give some context as to what's going on in the scripture, we'll read that together as well. And then, or we'll watch a overview together. So if you click here on, if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see overview of this week's Bible reading. So overview of the entire gospel, or at least Matthew 1 through part 1. So Matthew 1 through 13. This is Bible Project. They've been putting out videos, kind of giving you an overview, and I've reviewed these videos before I share, and I think they are based in scripture. I find them to be accurate. So we'll be watching this video together. They're about 8 minutes. Okay, and like I said, this next week we have 2. You can actually watch the video here on the site just by clicking this button. should play. So then if you go ahead and continue down to the About section, you'll kind of read what we're about. You can see some of our values and then any news that comes up. So again, here's a link to the site to pick up that book by James McDonald. And there's also the Bible camp, which was canceled. You can go to the contact section and you'll see we have information, a nice picture. If you want your information put here, let me know and I'll go ahead and do that. I have some for myself, my wife and I, and then I have some for Peter. He's another host. Here's him playing the viola. And then I have one for my nephew. And here's my sister and my nephew. That's his mom. So here's a picture of them and his contact info. If you, again, there's actually a link to the overview right here. So if you want to click that, there's another one up here, right? So just click these links. You can kind of navigate around the site. There is I set up a Discord server. So if you guys want to send me a chat either on Facebook or we have a group in Messenger, we also have a text message group and we also have, there isn't a Telegram group. I want to get one together. There's just not enough gentlemen who have Telegram. But if you have Discord and want to get on Discord, we can. Here's the invite. Just click this link. It should take you to Discord. And there it is. So you go ahead and you can just continue. I already have an account, so I'm not going to do this. I'm the only member, but you are welcome to join that as well. And that would just have discussions and updates. And here's some meeting archives. So that pretty much concludes the website. If you have any questions, feel free to send me a message on any of those contacts listed. Let me stop the share. So I appreciate everyone and their input, and I think that this new format will help us navigate the studies and the scripture more effectively. I really encourage everyone to pick up that book and do the studies beforehand. Also, perhaps read the scripture so we can kind of spend more time discussing things and sharing our experiences. So this concludes the tutorial video, and I encourage you all to come to the next meeting. We'll see you then.